9 to 5. The phrase tells a story. It's the story of routine, the story of going to work every day. Cynics could say this is the story of living the same day on repeat. For decades, 9 to 5 has been synonymous with a job. 9 is when you punch in and 5 is when you punch out. Alternatively, your shift could be 3 to 12 or 12 to night or any such combination depending on the kind of work you do. In the news business, we also have the graveyard shift. Now, what if you don't like working shifts? What if you don't like following the same routine every day? What if you do not like working every day? Decades ago, questions like these would have a standard answer. Can't manage 9 to 5, even 5 days a week? Well, stay at home. Not anymore. Today, you can work when you want. You can work where you want. This flexibility has been enabled by technology and made possible by the trend of remote working. The year is 2022 and this is the era of gig economy. Hello and welcome to Gravitas Plus. I'm Palki Sharma Upadhyay and tonight we'll talk about the gig economy. It may sound confusing, perhaps because of the word gig. And you're right if you're thinking that the word gig refers to a music performance. It does. For the longest time, gig meant a single performance by an artist. Today, gig also means a single performance by any talent. Let's say you're an architect or a lawyer or a financial consultant, and you associate yourself with a firm. You don't join the firm, but you work alongside it for a single term, for a single project, a single presentation, or a single product. You work as a consultant. You stay out of the payroll. You are an independent resource helping a firm without being a part of the firm. That is gig working. Now, those who work gigs are called gig workers. In the US alone, 57.3 million people are working gigs. Estimates say that by 2027, gig workers will account for 50% of the American workforce. The number will be around 86.5 million. There are 15 million gig workers in India. This is as of 2021. In the UK, the size of the gig economy has doubled in 3 years. Worldwide, the gig economy is expected to be worth $455 billion by 2023. Fortune estimates that at least 11% of the European Union's workforce, meaning 24 million people, have worked gigs at least once. Now, here's something that you must know at this point. Gig workers are not necessarily Uber and Lyft drivers or delivery agents. Yes, they too are working independently, but so are people across sectors. You can be a journalist, a writer. You can be a wedding planner, a software engineer, a photographer, realtor. Anyone and everyone can work gigs today. You can work as a freelancer, an independent contractor, or a project-based worker. You can be a full-time employee at a firm and still work gigs. All you need is a smartphone and high-speed internet to connect you to those looking for freelance workers/gig workers. Today, there are numerous platforms doing that job for you, the likes of Fiverr, Upwork, WeWork, Remotely, Behance. It's a long, long list. These platforms connect freelancers and gig workers to headhunters. They get paid per project, per presentation, or per day. Worldwide, freelancers charge around $21 an hour. $21. Data from the US shows some freelancers reporting an annual income of more than $100,000. Now, I know it is hard for a lot of people, especially the Gen X or Bloomers, to understand the very idea of gig working. After all, why would someone not want to be employed? Why would someone prefer gigs over stability? Because our world is changing and the job market is changing too. People are no longer sticking out at one job. Opportunities are plenty, talent is plenty, and there is social media connecting the two. Today, everyone is on the move. The value for time supersedes the value for stability. In fact, 26% of millennials believe gig economy is more secure than conventional work. Why? Because it offers flexibility plus long-term work-life balance. And why just millennials? In 1965, the average tenure of a worker at an S&P 500 company was 33 years. In 1990, it fell to 20 years. By 2027, it is projected to be just 10 years. Work-life balance is becoming non-negotiable across age groups, and gig economy is promising that balance. It is being enabled by technology and backed by the trend of remote and flexible working. Today, you get to decide your own schedule. If you're a night owl, you can start work at 2 a.m. If you prefer evenings, then you can start work at 5 p.m. If you have a child to take care of, you can log in after settling her for an afternoon nap, say post 1 p.m. Companies in your locality may be at lunch break at that hour. But so what? Technology can connect you to teams across time zones. You can telecommute. More than 3 in 4 freelancers agree that technology has made it easier to find a job that suits them. 79% of independent workers say they're happy working on their own than a traditional job. 51% freelancers say they will not return to traditional work. That should not be surprising. Who doesn't like being her own boss? Here's another benefit of gig working. You can work multiple roles. Most full-time employers have contracts they must abide by. Many contracts stop you from associating yourself with another firm. But if you're working gigs, you have no contract. You can have multiple income streams. A Deloitte study found that 64% of full-time workers want side hustles to make money. The question is, how many are allowed to do that? Or how many have the time to do that? Well, gig workers have both. They're paid based on targets and projects. Say you make high-end sales slides for a living. So you can calculate the income you need per quarter for savings and for spendings. And then you take up work accordingly. When you need more money, you put in extra hours. And once you have reached your earning target, you take a break. The firms associated with gig workers also have their own set of perks. You see, the gig economy is developed around the idea of a symbiosis. If you're a company, you get to work with the best talent without hurdles like location or time zone. You can find the best resource irrespective of where you're placed. You can connect with talent online and hire them for a project. Plus, you save money, be it on office space or training. If you're the talent, then you have a better work-life balance. If you're a mother looking to return to the workforce, gigs are a good place to start. In fact, 62% of the freelance work market in the Philippines is made up of female workers. Today, you have female gig workers delivering food, working as RO technicians, beauticians, app-based services are making all of these gigs possible. Startups are welcoming gig workers. And it won't be wrong to say that the gig economy is empowering women, helping workers maximize their income. Obviously, it's not all rosy. Like every story, this one too has a flip side. Gig working mostly comes without benefits. No medical benefits, no retirement benefits. Also, since there is no contract, you have no redressal forum. If the working condition is bad, then you either stick it out or you quit. Then there's the big question of stability. What if you don't find enough gigs during a quarter? Well, how will you pay your bills? Studies have found that gig workers are more anxious about finances than traditional workers. The number is 45% to 24%. There are other issues too. In France, for example, getting a loan will be impossible without a job contract. Finding a flat is going to be difficult too. You see, working gigs is a matter of risk-reward evaluation. There are enough jobs and social media to market yourself. If you are specialized, you will be sought after. You will find enough gigs. But then again, there is no guarantee of a stable engagement or a stable income. If you're okay with that, if you value flexibility over stability, or if you excel in a high-paying and high-demand skill, then it may just be worth the risk. Because the gig economy, at the end of the day, is a gamble. If you win, you get to be your own boss. If you lose, you can always go back to a regular job. Either way, it looks like the gig economy is here to stay.